All right. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm so excited. Favorite day of the week. I couldn't be more excited to spend it with y'all. And we are nearly halfway through May. Little punch, jab, kick in the booty, maybe. Maybe you think that May just started, but we are nearly halfway through. So are you nearly halfway to your goals? Does that mean you need to level up your activity? Does that mean you have to get more outside of your comfort zone? Does that mean that you need to up your game? Likely, yes. So it's okay. We wanted to put this tactical training together for y'all from our lovely VP squad. Now 5 of us going on 7 or 8 or 9 next month. Wait, there'll be like, holy shit, there'll be like 9. That's wild. Okay. Anyway, guys, I'm so excited about this training. We are going to be talking verbiage and wording examples. Specifically, all 5 of us have kind of nailed down a lot of the things we hear from y'all in our Voxer groups or just one-on-one, people having concerns. Hey, I just got asked this, or somebody said this. How do I word this? How do I say this? How do I ask this? And so we wanted to literally give you guys examples. The cool thing about out of this training, when I post it tomorrow morning on the team page, I will also link a Google Doc, which will have examples of the wording. So take notes, yes, and definitely if you guys hear something that you're like, ooh, that's a really good point, write that down, but we're gonna make a document so that you guys can have this at all times, so you can have some example wordings. A little bit of like the asterisk at the beginning of this training is that I want you guys to know this is not a copy-paste business. We are not copy-pasters, but there's a certain way to start channeling conversations or start, gearing conversations to go a certain way. And so sometimes you might just need that spark of like, oh, okay, here's how she phrased it. I could kind of rephrase that to be more authentic coming from me. And so that is the point of this document. So I just don't want people to think like copy paste. I'm going to use those exact words. Definitely always be true to you. Be true to who you are, how you speak, how you talk, because people are going to notice, right? And we want to be so authentic. We want to be genuine in this, but we want to help you guys, us 5, we've run into these things too. We still ran into these things. And so we want to help train you guys on having some phrases, having some words in your back pocket that you can, not think, oh shoot, this conversation is over because they said, I don't have time for this, but instead being like, oh, here's how I can phrase that, right? So I'm going to kick this off. And we are having Megan start off, and she is going to take it away. So I'm going to spotlight her, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with how to reach out to people about the business, whether it is a complete stranger, someone you know in real life, creating relationships, stuff like that. I want you guys to know, talking about the business is not supposed to be like a super stressful thing. I actually get excited to share this with people, and I love sharing it with literally every single person possible. So if you've ever had someone where you're like, oh, this person probably doesn't need it, that person probably needs it most. I think about this all the time. Like, what if Annie prejudged me and said, oh, she's fine, she's getting her master's degree right now, like she's doing great, she's doing something she loves, she probably doesn't need this. My life would look so different right now. And I was under a lot of stress during that time she reached out to me. So just know you guys are offering something that the right people are going to come around, the right people are going to say yes and come into your business. If someone's meant to be in your business, they're going to be in there. And just know, like, you are offering something that can change someone's whole life. So be super excited and genuine about that. Like Annie said, 100% genuine to you. So I'm going to explain how I do it most of the time. But again, if this is not something that you sound like, make it, your personality. So connecting with someone this could be someone you personally know, a mutual friend. I love going through my mutual friends and saying, oh my God, I know this person from like, she did gymnastics with this person, or she went to high school with my cousin's fiance or something like that. So it doesn't even have to be someone you genuinely know. But I like to kind of kick it off with like, hey, Maddie, whatever their name is. I never use the word girl. That's not my personality. I love talking to them as a person. Hey, Maddie, it's been forever. How are you doing now that you're out of school? It seems like you've been loving your new nursing job. That's amazing. I actually want to reach out and ask you if you would take a look at what I've been doing on the side of my personal training job. I love to connect with them in some way and not just, say, hey, hope you're doing well, but like, hey, I've actually been looking, I've been following your journey. Seems like you're loving this or that. And then next part, you've always been so hardworking, and I think you'd be amazing at what I do. I actually have a ton of nursing friends that do this too and have been loving it. If I sent you some info, would you take a look? I love ending with like, if I blank, would you? Because it leaves like, they say yes or no, they give an answer. It's not just like, hey, let me know. But at the end, I ask a question and then they say, sure. Or, they say something about it. Oh yeah, I've been loving nursing. Yeah, sure. Send me some info. So if you genuinely know that person, connect with them on some level. And, you use a compliment or say, hey, your daughter looks like she's, whatever, something about their personal life. So that's for someone I genuinely know. An example of a complete stranger. So maybe this is someone you've literally never connected with, but you see something in them and you want to reach out to them about the business on your first touch. So, straight into the business ask. This was an example. So, hey, Kim, I know this is probably really random, but I was looking through your profile and really wanted to reach out. I love that you're blank. So like touch on something about their profile so that, or they know, she's actually looking through it. This one girl one time she was the head of like a mental health organization at her school. So I touched on that. I was touching on her positivity on her page. And connected with her through that. And so that's amazing. I'd love to know more about what you do with that, whatever, something about their profile. Then I go into, I was wondering if you're open to an extra income while you're in school at Florida State or whatever school or whatever they do. I think you really love what I do. I was so busy while I was in school, and this was actually a really big blessing. So I wanted to offer it to you as well. Totally fine either way, but if I sent you some info, would you take a look? Or would you see what you think? Would you take a look, see what you think, whatever. I like to take the pressure off of people. Like, would you just take a look? It's not, hey, do you want to join my business? But like, hey, could I send you some info? Our job is to educate and offer. Our job is never to convince someone to start their business or beg someone or anything like that. So I just love, taking the pressure off and saying, hey, would you just see if it's for you? People love that, and there's so much more to opening up about it. And then the last thing I want to touch on really quick was making a random connection. So if you were in the, if you're in the RVP boot camp, connecting with people is part of the homework, and it's not asking, hey, will you look at the business right away or saying anything about Arbonne, but connecting with humans. So this is an example. This was like 2 days ago, a real example. I reached out to a girl I actually saw from Florida State. She posted a really cute graduation picture. I looked through her profile and I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. She'd be amazing, whatever. And so I just reached out, and my initial message was, hey, Gracie, I just came across your page. Congrats on graduating from Florida State. What did you major in? It wasn't, hey, I do Arbonne or anything like that. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm a marketing major with a computer science minor. And I said, oh my gosh, of course. Well, it's amazing. What do you want to do with that? My boyfriend actually played football at Florida State last season, small world, and just, created that trust, that relationship. And then from there, she said, that's awesome. Right now, I'm not really doing anything because nobody is hiring, but I'm hoping to be a brand marketing analyst for a hotel brand. And that's when I was, genuinely like, oh, she could actually use this. I was actually just trying to create a genuine relationship. And so then I kind of went from there. Oh, wow, that's so cool. I actually have a way for you to earn some extra money online right now while you're waiting for places to start hiring again. This helped me when I was finishing up school and job searching. If I sent you some info, would you take a look? And, genuinely creating that trust, creating that relationships first. And then she's like, yeah, of course, sure. Like, that might be helpful for me. So our business is a relationship-based business. It's not, hey, throwing this at people, because when you are having a QV or a, goal-focused mindset, you're not connecting, you're not relating with people, but showing people like, hey, when I said no to Annie, she was still touching base. She was commenting on my posts about my weightlifting, Ryan, my boyfriend, my family, things like that, showing that she cared about me as a person. So that really has helped me. I think Haley is going next, and like relationships and building trust and stuff like that.
Yes, so that is
Okay.
perfect. Love all that. So yeah, I'm going to talk about creating that connection and the relationship, because I do think that is so important in this business. Because always keep in mind, guys, like we are in the people's business, and like literally our job or with our business is all about connecting with people. I know we hear all the time on training calls that people are attracted to people. They're going to join you as an individual. So always just be true to you, because that's what you want. And so I always like to say, I want someone to meet me in person and they know exactly who I am just based off of my social media, so don't be scared to be yourself when you're and show your personality on your social media, because that is what people are going to be attracted to. So like I love to show my humor. Because I'm just like the funniest freaking person ever. Every time I try something funny, my boyfriend's like, stop trying to be funny, you're not funny. But like these are just things that I just genuinely like to show my personality, because I think that's how people relate with you. That's how they connect with you. And so just always keep in mind that it's super rare for someone to sign up on first exposure of their business. So just valuing the connection is what will be so important, because not everyone, we all know that people don't, it takes like 8 to 12 exposures, right? And so creating that relationship aside from Arbonne and not even having the topic of Arbonne is so, so important. I always keep in mind that that's how Madeline Hill sponsored Gabby Lemire, was because she just kept that relationship, commenting and all that kind of stuff. And so you just never know. Yes, will it take a little bit of effort, just to the 2 seconds to like or comment on their picture? Yeah, but will it be worth it in the end of creating a relationship? Absolutely. And so some things that I love to do is just following people that I think that would be rock stars. And so it's not even that I'll follow or reach out to them the first time I see their profile. There's a lot of times that I will just follow them and just kind of try and create some kind of relationship. And so just keep in mind, guys, like just because you find someone's profile, sometimes absolutely it's great to, have those reach outs, but a lot of times it's a longevity game. And so don't be scared just to follow people and create that relationship and just show that you are human. You're not a copy and paste kind of thing. And so interact with their posts, I'll go follow some people that I think that would be rock stars. I'll start liking their pictures. I'll start replying to their stories. Was this way out of my comfort zone when I first started doing this? Absolutely. I would have never just like randomly replied to someone's stories, but that's exactly what that connection is. And just creating that relationship. And yeah, is it weird sometimes? Because let's be honest, no one ever really does that. But I think people value that. Like people show things on social media because we appreciate replies. We appreciate comments. Let's be real. Anytime someone pipes up your post and you're like, hey girl, like they're like piping you up, you're like, thank you. Like people love the attraction and the attention. So even though it might seem weird, I promise you they'll appreciate it. And they'll give that right back to you in return. So, but yeah, utilize your I'm reading my notes. Utilize your social media to show others what Arbonne does for you. So this is kind of when you can utilize that relationship and connection to kind of show what Arbonne is to what it has been for you, right? So we always we always say this, use social media to show others what this can do, and then have that conversation one-on-one on what it could do for them. And so I think when you're creating that connection and that relationship, have people wonder, like, what is that Arbonne thing she's always talking about? Like, even if you're just creating that relationship, they're obviously going to see your post and your stuff and things like that. And so creating that curiosity, I think, can be really, really big. So then when one day you do reach out to them, it's not like, what the heck is she even talking about? You've never even talked about Arbonne on your social media before, And so I love to utilize social media to show what Arbonne's done for me. And if you just started your business yesterday and you're like, well, frick, it hasn't done anything for me yet. Have you changed your personal development? Have you changed your mindset? Have you changed your goals in life? Like Arbonne is doing something for you, whether it's physical or personal or whatever. I know the first day I started my business, I was like, I already have a new friend. Like, that stuff helped me and changed me. And so even if you started your business yesterday, like share that vision with people, guys, because that's literally how I grew my business. Was I was just so freaking passionate about what it was going to do for me. And so just show that to others through your social media and, you know, utilizing that relationship. And and always keep in mind that sponsoring, it's a process. We all know that 8 to 12 exposures on statistics is what it usually takes. And so I know Sydney, my RVP, it took me probably all 12 connections before she started her business. And so I think just the number one thing to always keep in mind is this is a longevity. It's a process. You're building a business. Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, they weren't thriving on their first exposure, you know, so just always follow the process, keep consistent with everything. Focus on connections, because that's exactly what we're doing. You know, create that friendship, create that connection, because people are going to be attracted to you. And so just really focus on that. And so I'm going to hand it off to, I think, Annie. Yeah. So Annie's now going to talk about like actual verbiage.
Yay! Hi guys. Okay. And it's so funny because I just saw JC. Can somebody touch on how to follow up when you've been left on red? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Hold up. I want to do a little picture break. So if you guys don't have your video camera on, bring your camera on, and let's get a quick selfie. Remind people where you're spending your Monday nights. Like, truly, guys, this community is everything. When I post that I am hanging out with 253 of my friends on a Monday night while everyone else is quarantining, being bored in the house bored, like, we are growing ourselves and we are surrounding ourselves with 253 other people who are doing the same. So I'm going to take a quick boomerang, or actually I'm going to do a video, and just hang tight with me, okay? But keep your freaking video on. Yay.
That's really good.
All right. I love you guys. Alrighty. Now back to the scheduled programming. Okie dokie. What I am talking about is how to go from an authentic conversation, wording to how to send a DA, wording to how to get them in a group text with your sponsor, wording on how to follow up when you've been left on red, and then wording on how to scale down to products. So that's a lot, but we're going to talk all through all that wording. So the first thing that I wanted to say is, after the conversation starters that you have with Megan and Haley, and they kind of talk through some of that stuff, Megan gave a lot of really good verbiage there. After you have started that conversation and brought up, you know, so that example where Megan said she reached out to that girl from Florida State, you know, so wording there can be, I have literally, and I want to encourage you guys to do this, find what works for you, find the wording that you find really authentic to yourself, put it in your notes, copy, save it there, and literally anytime I'm sending a DA, even if the person has been, like, this makes the process so streamlined that, like, anytime I'm sending the DA, I'm sending these words with it. Because you just, like, for me, it helps me just know where I'm at in the process, and helps me always follow kind of like a checklist, honestly. And so I always send this, you know, whether I am asking, can you send me the link to the sweater? I have no idea. Someone sent me this actually, but anyway, so I am following this every time, whether somebody reaches out to me about this or I'm reaching out to them. And what I say is, after an authentic conversation, what I say is, oh my gosh, I would love to share this with you. Honestly, it's changed my life so much, and I love showing people how to do the same. Here, watch this video. Let me know ASAP when you're done so we can chat details. Yay. Exclamation mark and like little emoji smiley, okay? And then I'm sending the link to the DA. So a few things I want you guys to pay attention there too is not, let me know when you have a chance, or maybe you'll have time today, or you'll maybe have time this week to watch this. No, I'm saying, let me know ASAP when you watch this, or when you're done, so we can chat details. You are not saying like, oh, here's this thing, like, just enjoy the link. Like, you are giving them like direction. Like, really, truly, guys, take so much pride in your role as a consultant, because you are consulting somebody on what to do, right? So here's this link. Let me know when you're done, and we're going to chat details, right? So You are following up until they watch the dang Discover Arbonne video, which might take you following up 12 times. So here are a few wording examples that I use when following up. So this is somebody who I've sent the DA to and they have not gotten back to me, right? Because let's be honest, somebody might have watched the DA and they're not running back to you, okay? It's okay. It doesn't mean they're not interested. It means that you need to follow up, right? So I'm a big OMG girl. You might not be a big OMG girl. Don't say OMG. If you don't say OMG, I say OMG in real life. So like, if you know me, I'm saying that out of text. So OMG, I'm dying to know what you thought about the vid I sent you. What do you think? A bunch of exclamation marks, a bunch of question marks, right? Maybe they didn't respond to that. The next thing I'm doing is like responding to a story that they post or an Instagram picture or any sort of, if they're on social media, I'm responding to those things and I'm being like, oh my God, I love that outfit. Where's it from? They'll respond probably. Again, just like Haley said, people like being in conversation. People like compliments. Not that that compliment is inauthentic. I'm probably actually genuinely wanting to know where she got her outfit. And then when she responds, me being like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask. What do you think of that video I sent? You know, boom, that kind of takes the pressure off, and it's not being like, hi, what do you think of the video? Hi, the video though, the video, what'd you think? You know, I'm finding different ways of like, and also you can literally blame it on yourself just being so excited about all this, that's why you need to know, not like nagging and annoying. I genuinely don't think I'm nagging and annoying. And it's all about, right, guys, what you think you are, you are. And so if you think, oh my God, I'm annoying this person, this is the 12th message I've sent, I'm so annoying, then maybe you're coming off annoying. But if you are like, seriously, like, holy shit, I am so excited to share this with Kaylee. She needs to listen to this. Oh my God, I'm just so excited what she thinks. Literally portray that in the text that you're sending. And so those are kind of the wordings that I send. And then honestly, if they read and don't respond, I call them out. So I say something like, you know, Becky, oh my God, I saw that you read my message. I totally know the life is crazy. But did you have a chance to watch that video? Literally, again, calling them out. Most of the time when you call somebody out, they are going to be like, oh my God, I totally forgot. Like, oh my God, I thought I responded and I thought I sent a text. They're probably going to say something like that. Okay. So anyway, let's say they're watching the Discover Arbonne. Now, this is something I get all the time. Somebody watches the Discover Arbonne and says, it's not for me. And people think that's the end of the conversation. Nope. No. That is not the end of the conversation. That is the next step, is getting them into a group message with your area manager or above. And so guys, just know that if they spent the 15 minutes watching a Discover Arbonne, they are at least 15 minutes interested, right? Like they are like 1% interested is still a level of interest. If they watch the video, they watch the video, right? And so some of the questions I always ask after that is like, and what I would say for you guys to ask, because obviously like I'm not getting them in a group message with myself like that. I am the message. Okay. Anyway, what I'm saying after that is, oh my God, here, send me your number, or here, text me. I oftentimes give somebody my number first, so that they feel less pressure about like, oh, this is weird giving a stranger my number off Instagram. I usually give my number first. I'll say, oh my gosh, here, well, text me. Let's chat through why that might be. Because honestly, I feel like this is a little bit different than what you might think. So another thing, a way you can say that is, here, well, go ahead and text me. What if I got you in a group text with the girl from the video? Or what if I got you in a group text with the girl who's teaching me how to be successful at this? Or, hey, I totally understand if people are like, okay, well, that's really cool, but it's just like not for me. You know, asking, okay, well, here's my number, text me, let's chat about that. Like, that's honestly what I say. And that's the wording that I use, because likely, like, there's not a type of person that this is for. Let's be honest. And a lot of the times I'm using wording such as, well, hey, I know you're super busy, but don't you still have time to eat food and wash your face? That's literally all I do. It's at the beginning of your business. It's just a matter of using a different brand. So I think this is a lot simpler than you might think. Here, text me. Let me get you in a group chat. You know, are you open to getting in a group chat for, you know, my friend Annie to explain a little bit more about what the next steps would be? And that's kind of a way to like diffuse the whole I'm not interested, but still get them into a conversation. the point of the conversation, I think the biggest thing is the point of the conversation with your area manager above is not to like sign them up on the dot. It is to continue to give them more information. So, you know, if they say, I'm just not ready, I just don't want to, I don't know, like getting in a text with her just stresses me out, or, you know, literally the whole point of the text, and you can just reassure them, the whole point of the text is literally for her to give you more information about what the next steps would look like, so that you have more information to then make the best decision for you. Because let's be honest, you know, after just watching that video, you can sit and think, but sitting and thinking in your thoughts are never going to get you an answer, because you still don't have the full picture. You know what I mean? And so that is that. If you've sent the Discover Arbonne and they have not taken a look, again, like Megan said, it's not our job to convince somebody to strap them down on a bed and force them to watch a Discover Arbonne video. We're not convincing or pleading or begging people to do Arbonne with us. We are noticing a struggle, an issue, a problem that, you know, you have a solution for. So if they're literally 0% interested, but you still for some reason have a tug at your heart, literally just being like, hey, watch this 15-minute video. If you can honestly say that you're negatively % interested, then sure, okay, fine, that's fine. But you might realize that this is completely different than what you think it is. So that's some wording there for that. But again, like I wouldn't waste a whole bunch of your time on somebody that is like very strongly resisting and like, you know, hey, you know, it's not our job to convince somebody. So cool. Next thing I wanted to talk about is, now you're in a group, you should always be in a group text with your area manager or above. And they can help you with a lot of this wording. We do a lot of area manager and above training on wording, on processes, on all those steps. So it's really, truly, it's so important to have that steps in the process. But let's say somebody, you obviously start with the business, and they say, yo, it's too expensive. You know, I'm not, you know, I can't buy that right now. Okay. I just want to say, it is our job as consultants to get people started on the right track. So as a consultant, you get started with your RE9, your nutrition pack, and your green drinks products, right? So it's like literally gets you started with your morning staple, gets you started with your skincare, and gets you started on our next 30 days to healthy living program, right? So you are capable and able to talk to any human being with skin about Arbonne. Let's say somebody's like, hey, you know, I am, no, I don't have a new DA yet. I am working on that. Once I'm done moving, I will do it and I will get it approved by Best and it'll be good to go, but I don't right now. So let's say somebody to that says, hey, that's too expensive. You know, I want you guys to take this excuse as not something to feel bad about. I want you guys to take it as a, you know, a moment of self-reflection that you as a consultant have not planted enough seeds for them to see the full value of the business or of the 30-day challenge or of the RE9 line or of whatever you're talking about. If they say that it's too expensive, they clearly don't see the value behind the dollar sign, right? So you can take this as, hey, I've just got to be more consistent. I've got to show them. I've got to put myself out there. I've got to talk about Arbonne more. I've got to show them the community. I've got to show them the personal growth. I've got to show them the vision. I've got to show them that it's not just about weight loss. I've got to show them it's not just a dollar sign on a new nutrition program, but it's a lifestyle habit. It's this, it's that, it's redirecting. So in that moment, I know it's easy for you to be like, oh gosh, everybody says it's so expensive. But if you are getting that excuse time and time again, that is a call to action to you to be better about planting more seeds about the value beyond the dollar sign. And I really want you guys to take that seriously. At the beginning of my business, I got that excuse pretty much every day because I have been so consistent in showing the products, showing how much I love them, showing how they benefit my life, showing how this business has benefited my life, showing this community, showing the growth, showing the personal development, showing the habits, because I've been so consistent, guys, I swear I hardly get that excuse anymore. And it's not because I'm not talking to broke college students. It's not because I'm not talking to struggling moms or people that are, you know, whatever you might think. It's because I have shown a value beyond the dollar sign. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to like really truly take that as like, if you get that excuse a lot, you need to show Arbonne more often. You need to show the value beyond the dollar sign, because the quality that we have, the value provided in the products and the business in this community is so much greater than that dollar sign, right? But wording to kind of go down and the scale down. So the next thing you're doing is, hey, all right, what if we just got you started with, and this is always what I say, all right, so you're not ready for a business investment, totally get it. Hypothetically, what if we were just to get you started with some products to start using to see how you like Arbonne? Of course, we have a 45-day money back guarantee, so this would just be so you can get used to the products, see how you like them, see what they are all about. Hypothetically, what are you most interested in? Skincare, nutrition, or makeup? You know, let's say they're like definitely skincare, right? So if they say skincare, the wording for that is, awesome. What type of skin do you have? Oily, dry, acne, sensitive, stressed, acne scarring, texture issues, aging. You're literally asking them those questions, right? And then they're going to come back and say, you know, well, I have oily skin, but I have like acne scarring. So awesome. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get you started as a preferred client. Let's grab you the RE9 line so you can get that at a huge discount. Let's start you just using the products and see how you like them. See how you feel about them. See if authentically, if you like them, then honestly, we can always upgrade you to do the business. But right now, how about we just get you started with this RE9 line? This is what the price would be. It lasts 4 to 6 months. You have a 45-day money back guarantee. You get a free product, you get free shipping, and you're literally explaining all the perks that they get, right? If they say nutrition, obviously you're talking through the 30-day program. You're giving them all the information about that. I'll put the info wording for the 30-day program in this Google Doc that will get posted tomorrow. If they say makeup, you're saying, awesome. So here are some of my staples. I use this. We'll get you started as a PC. You get 20% off. You get free shipping. You get a free product. You're explaining all that sort of stuff. So you're kind of scaling down. Does that make sense? The next thing you're doing is, let's say the 30-day challenge is too expensive. You're then scaling down to, awesome. Okay. So I get that. What if we were to just get you started with a little half pack? It would be like the fizz, the protein, the digestion, and the tea. We'll get you started with that. Again, you're going to get the 20% off, the free shipping. Of course, everything else has a 45-day money back guarantee. It would be around, you know, it would be closer to $160 instead of the $266. How about we get you going with that? You know, that way then you can see the product, you can see how you feel about them, see how you love them. So notice, guys, that every time there's a no, it's not end of the conversation. It is just a prompt to then ask about something else, right? And so that is where I'm going to leave my section of this conversation, and I'm going to pass it on to Kat, who's going to explain kind of the excuse of, you know, time and how to schedule this into your business. And I think she's actually, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, she's going to be talking more about us as consultants, how to schedule your Arbonne business into your time, because I think it's really important. We have these really motivational calls every Monday night, and I do not want you guys to leave these calls and be like, awesome, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I want us to leave these calls and really, truly, before we even get off these calls, schedule Arbonne into your day, right? Because if you don't schedule it, it probably isn't going to happen. Kat has been really good about dealing with schedule issues, not issues, but she works, I mean, she's crazy busy. So Kat, unmute yourself because I can't see you right now. Shoot, I can't see her. Does anybody see Kat?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Okay, here.
Why it was like that. But hey, yeah, I actually wanted to talk to you about obviously scheduling it into your day. And then I also wanted to, like, part B, talk about, you know, when you're talking to somebody and they're their feedback or their response to you is, hey, I'm so busy, and basically trying to tell you no without telling you no, but just the excuse of I'm too busy. So first and foremost, I want to talk about you and scheduling your business into your day, because it's so key to actually have a plan, and not only just have a plan for your day in front of you, but be consistent with that plan throughout all your days. And so that you don't lose track, or if something crazy happens in your life, you have something tangible that you're used to, a pattern, or habit that you can launch back onto that, get back to that habit and kickstart your business again. You know, sometimes life just happens, but it's always, okay, let's get back on track as soon as possible. So for me, you know, yeah, I do have a really crazy busy schedule. I've always had a crazy busy schedule because I like to fill my plate. And that's why I love talking to people also who I'm sharing the business with, and their response is, oh, I'm so busy. I'm like, okay, girl, same, but let's talk about it more. So, you know, you may have a schedule that's the same every single day, maybe a 9 to 5 that you're doing already. Or maybe you're like me and you work 3/12. So 3 days out of the week, you're doing something very structured. And then the other 4 days, it's like whatever goes. And so that's kind of where things can get a little sketchy if you're not really critical on how you're spending your time and what you're doing, is when your days aren't exactly the same and you're not used to that. So for those who have a, you know, similar day every single day, this may be easier for you, but I always have a planner. And so in my planner, I've got obviously all my days. I learned this in nursing school. I have 15-minute increments in my planner. If you don't have a really detailed planner like that, and you're thinking, you know, I need to schedule out my time a little bit more critically, then maybe go find a new planner. Or if the one that's working for you works for you, stick to that and don't change. Remember, in Arbonne, you're always trying to do what works for you. So I have a 15-minute increment planner. I've tried to use it on my phone, absolutely a no-go. So I stick to like the tangible paper. So for me, no matter what, my day starts the same. So I'm going to wake up, whether I'm waking up at 4:30, 5 a.m., or I'm waking up at 9:30, 10 a.m. and I'm sleeping in because I'm on my off day. I wake up, first thing I do is I'm like doing meditation and prayer. So I schedule at 10, 15 minutes. It's usually a generalization. I don't have a timer for this, but I schedule a block of time out. So I just like lay in bed and I do that kind of just mental choreography. I go through things I'm thankful for, things I want to really approach in the day. And then second off, I get up out of bed and I put on my personal development. And so I do this next, and I do it at the beginning of my day. This may not be how you structure your day, but for me, I've got to set the tone of my day, because as you know, and you've heard maybe, you know, how you approach the beginning of your day, life doesn't happen to you. Your day doesn't happen to you. It's how you plan your day. You know, I'm going to be happy today, instead of waiting for something to make you happy, or I'm going to be so diligent today and I'm going to help 3 people start their business today. You say those things in that moment in time when you wake up. And so personal development for me is second. It's right when I get up. Sometimes I'm still in bed and I'm just threw my Audible book on, or sometimes I'm in the shower and my Audible book is playing there. If I'm having a weird day and I just like don't get it in those 2 moments, it's always in my car if I'm on the way to work. So I've got a few different moments in my early morning that I put my personal development, and I like to knock it out of the park. So when I go to talk to people, it's coming from a place of my cup's full. So I'm not like, you know, I'm feeling so tired, I'm anxiety, stress, like work, family, like all these things will come into your life and will come into your day. But if you filled your cup up in the early mornings of your day, then you should be better off when you're going to talk to people. And then another thing that I really like to put into my morning routine is morning greens drink. And so not only does this obviously apply your business into your life, it applies structure. It's something that's consistent. You put it on your Instagram or your Facebook and people see that consistency. It's one staple that we have that it's like, you know, it's so easy. Everyone knows what the greens drink is. And, you know, that is another way we've talked a lot in this call about being consistent and, you know, your relationships, you know, you talk about those one-on-one with people, but oftentimes you're showing it in your social media. You're not telling it to people, but you're showing it like, hey, this is what I do. I'm consistent with this. Not only is that going to be visible for other people, but it's something that you internalize. Like you have that consistency about your business. And so it's not like this wishy-washy feeling in your head about Arbonne. Like, what are you doing with Arbonne today? Well, you've done your greens drink and you're approaching your day in this way. So I like to have those things before I even start to reach out to people, because I have found that, you know, I have a lot of tough conversations with Arbonne. Like some of them are not so bright, like we've said and mentioned, and you've probably gone through them yourself, where, you know, that first exposure or the first 5 exposures are still a no-go with those people that you're sharing Arbonne with, even though, you know, maybe later down the line, they hop into their business and they're complete rock stars. I have so many examples of those people on my team personally that said no to me over and over and over again, or left me on red or whatnot, or told me they didn't have time for Arbonne. So just having those staples, and I would really encourage you to find that staple for you that works for you, but those are the ones that work for me. The quality of your life is going to be based off the quality of your habits. So what kind of habits do you have that, you know, with your time is based around your time and how you're applying that. So with your planner, I'm not just scheduling my day in front of me. I'm scheduling a week out, sometimes, actually most of the times, months out. So I'm really like, my friends who aren't in Arbonne, but, you know, just have told me no, and I'm still working on them. But my lifelong friends always tell me, they laugh. They're like, I have to go to you and plan something with you like months out, because I'm not going to get your time. And it's so true, because I'm planning. And if that's something that's uncomfortable for you, you're not a planner, it's going to take practice for you. And that's just something you're going to have to get used to, but it's definitely okay to start from scratch and feel like I'm all over the place. I was that person. I think nursing school and my Arbonne business really got me into a place where I'm structuring my days. I've got 30 to 60 minutes of reach out time. I've got, and follow up time. I've got, you know, 30 minutes to an hour of my personal development, my Audible book time. And so I have those structured out into my 15-minute increments of my day. And so then, you know, you look at your day. So you've got your schedule. My nursing schedule is like 2.5, usually months out. When they like, I get my schedule approved and they tell me these are your 3 12 hours for the week, and then these are your call shift hours. And so what I'll do is I'll mark those in, you know, either a color or just have a bullet and it says work, and I've got that time scheduled out. And then in the remaining time, I schedule in those other things. And you guys, those are non-negotiable things for your business. So you're not like, you should never feel like I can't do this. This is just overwhelming, because you're scheduling it in and it's now habitual. And that's the biggest thing about Arbonne and your time spent, is it's got to be habitual. There's gonna be days where you're like, oh shit, like I've got 10,000 things and I'm just my cup is full with stress, and I've got family and friends and just like all these things. But if you've got habits every day, it's not going to be a problem. You're not going to be overwhelmed anymore. And I remember early on in my business, so if you're early on in your business right now, this was at the toughest point for me. I was doing so much activity and planning so much, and it was new. And so it was really uncomfortable for me. But I did it anyways, because I know as a human being in my past, any skill that I was trying to learn, any new thing that really meant a lot to me, if it was a new skill of gymnastics or, you know, my nursing degree, I knew the time it took in order to get it done. And so I also knew that if I wasn't getting it done in that amount of time, I added more time. And I know that we say like 30 to 60 minutes of Arbonne a day. Well, I don't really think that personal development or your greens drink or, you know, all those other things are dedicated Arbonne times. Those are you just being a good human being and challenging yourself and getting out of your comfort zone. Arbonne time is getting on team calls. It's talking to people one-on-one. It's scheduling calls with your upline, launches, all those kinds of things. That's Arbonne time. But all the extra stuff, that's just you becoming your best version that is going to apply to Arbonne. Okay, so I think like the planner thing, that's pretty obvious. And I think that the biggest point I want to leave you guys with is, say that you have a schedule where it is shifty like mine. So there's 3 days I work, 4 days I don't. Sometimes I'm on call, and then it's an iffy day. I may be called in, I may not be. In those days, I get to do more Arbonne. And so, you know, for me, on my days that I'm working, I'll do a lot of that stuff in the morning right before I get ready for work. That means I'm setting my alarm a little bit earlier, guys. Hate to break it to you, but it doesn't mean I'm rolling out of bed, brushing my teeth, and getting out the door. It means I'm waking up an extra hour early. And I know I'm slow in the morning, so I keep that in mind to get all those things done. Then while I'm through my day at work, guys, I can see my notifications on my phone, but I'm in surgery. So people are like wide open under anesthesia in front of me. I can't be texting back like that while I'm at work. So I really utilize my break times and my lunch hours, like half hour, which really is more like 20 minutes. So I utilize those times for Arbonne. I have literally gotten on calls with people on my lunch break. I've told them, I say, hey guys, like, we're doing this call, it's a 3-way call, or even just me and that person, like, I just want to let you know, like, this time works for me. It's the only time that will work between us. And I'm going to be on my lunch break. So I'm going to be in my scrubs. I hope you don't mind. And if you just really tell people and be, open and transparent, like, nobody cares. So it's cool to do things on your break times. I really encourage it. And then, you guys, I get off work at 7:30 p.m. Oftentimes, 8 o'clock Monday night calls. I'm on that on my way home from work. I've got it playing in my car. No, I can't sit down to take notes, but I'm mentally taking notes. I am involved. And so that is really critical when you are working your Arbonne business for consistency and longevity and success over time, guys. You can't be like this. You've got to be like this all the time. And of course, you're going to have weird off days, but that's totally normal. And it's, can I get back to my habits that I've set in stone to do every single day? And it's going to help in the long term. It's going to help if your schedule suddenly shifts and something weird happens in your life and no longer do you have that normal schedule. And I think there was a question, how do I post on days I'm not working? Guys, I literally go to the bathroom and I'm sitting on the toilet and that's how I post. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I do the craziest things on my work days. And so just find it, whatever works. Like, that sometimes means for me, like, I'm waking up extra 20 minutes early to take a video of my green drink and then post it. Or I'm talking on my stories right before work and before I go in, and I'm just sharing a piece of my life. I don't know. So literally pick anything, but yeah, you get real creative on your work days. But I don't let it stop me. So I want to get on to part B, the conversation that you're having with people who say, they come back to you and say, hey, I don't have enough time for this. So you're going to have 2 different types of conversations, like responses. So person A, they're super vague with what they say. They're just like, I don't have time. And so you're like, okay, like, what are you doing, girl? So really, when somebody says, I just don't have time, that's a perfect time for you not to shut down the conversation and run away because you're like, oh my gosh, they're shutting me down. Early on in my business, I had that fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm busy too. Like, I'm sure they're really stressed. And so like, that was my first, like reactive thought in my head. Obviously I didn't tell them that, but like my first thought was, I just can't continue this conversation. And so when somebody tells you, hey, I just don't have time, I'm super busy, it's really your point, your cue where you should actually ask them questions. So, hey, you told me that you're really busy. Like, what are you up to? What things do you fill your day with? What are you doing day to day? What does your schedule actually look like? Just kind of like getting to know them at that point in time. You haven't really, given them enough information for them to really fully feel like they can tell you they don't have time because you haven't told them enough about Arbonne, especially if you're still in DMs and you're not in a group chat. There's literally no way you've explained Arbonne enough for them to tell you I don't have time. So on their end, they may feel like they don't have time, but it's your duty, your responsibility to ask them questions so that you continue the conversation and then show them, pour into them, be like, hey, I understand that you're super busy. Like, isn't this such a crazy world? I feel like everyone's moving a mile a minute. And I'd love to just reassure you that busy people are the best at this business. I'm actually super busy doing all these different things as well. So this is something that, doesn't take away your focus from what you're already doing in your life, but just adds to it and supplements it. Some people say I'm so focused on school and transitioning into the real life if they're a new grad, because I'm getting a lot of those conversations right now since, people are graduating. I'm really transitioning into my job. This is my passion. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I don't want their response of saying I'm so focused on A, B, and C to be a reason why they can't do Arbonne. Actually, it's a reason why they can do Arbonne. So if they say like, hey, I'm really focused on these things, just open the conversation up, pour into them, and show them how actually you're probably already spending the time that you need for Arbonne in various areas. You just don't know it. And you can say those words like, hey, I'm sure you just don't know that you're probably already spending this time in your daily life. Like, are you scrolling social media? Like, do you wash your hair? Like, those simple questions. I know Annie said that a little bit earlier. Literally just be frank with them. Like, hey, I know that you probably wash your face and put makeup on and put deodorant on. Arbonne is as simple starting your business off as changing your brand. And that doesn't take much time at all. And I always reassure people like, hey, I don't want to take away your focus from the things that you're already loving and experiencing. Arbonne is definitely letting me experience those things even more. And sometimes, you guys, that's a really hard response. So I will send a voice message. When something is so personal for them, on the other end, they may be telling you I have no time. And what it really means is I'm so stressed because I'm finishing out my school year. I feel pressured to get a job. there's things in my personal life that may be going on. We all have them. So instead of that, I don't have time, it really means a bundle of other things. So I get personal with them. I send them a voice message and I let them hear my reflection in my tone, because guys, I care about the person I'm sharing this business with. They're potentially going to work with me every single day. And so I want to, start at square one, when they say those things, about getting personal with them. And I'll first start out my response with saying, hey, I hear you. I understand that you are super busy. I don't want to take away from how you're feeling. And I'll just, give my response about how they can fit this into their busy life. And, maybe not all in that first message. I'll give them a little glimpse into my busy life. And it helps a little bit. Don't talk always all about you, but to give them some like personal reference, like, hey, you're talking to a really busy chick too. And, I actually don't want to be busy. I feel insane. I have so much anxiety when I'm just sitting and doing nothing. Like quarantine is killing me, or whatever you want to say about that. And I think oftentimes, especially early on in my business, I knew that when somebody told me these things that we've talked about on tonight's call, especially when somebody told me they didn't have time or they are busy, I'm like, well, how do I really know if they're busy or not? So that was a huge stab in my stomach. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I just don't know how to carry on this conversation. But again, like Annie said, it's not a shutdown. It doesn't mean you can't carry on the conversation or that person's a definite no. It just means you have to dig a little deeper. And guys, that takes time. It means that you have to be relatable, personable, and genuine, and a real freaking human being. That's all that means. And it's all about your mindset. Truly, at the end of the day, when I shifted my mindset from being nervous about their response, that no response, to, let me just help them understand a little bit more. I'm sure they just don't understand more. And I have this huge gift. Gosh, that whole process became so much more, just not stressful on my end. And so hopefully that helped. I think that there's so many different ways you're going to hear people say, I don't have time, but truly what it just means is you've got to dig a little bit deeper and ask them a little bit more questions about how they're spending their time, and then show them how they can spend their time with Arbonne too. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helped.
Love that. And then Sid, to wrap it up here, put those bows on all the little pieces that we just talked about.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Awesome. So I'm kind of just going to give you guys, I think, 10 or 11 tips and things to keep in mind when you're implementing this into your business and your daily activity, when you're using these wordings. So the first thing, and this is all going to be typed out too, so if you miss something, I'll make sure to type it up tonight and add it to that Google Doc. So the first thing is, don't be attached to the outcome. I think a lot of us, especially when we're just starting our business, if you have somebody, kind of shut you down, or you feel like somebody, maybe offended you or hurt your feelings or said no right off the bat, as we talked about, there's ways to work through that and overcome the objections, but never let your excitement be dampened by somebody else's response. Don't be attached to the outcome. If somebody is a no now, chances are they're going to end up being a yes later. There's a majority of the people in my business were people that said no at first and came around later and are now the top consultants on my team. The same with me. Like we talk about all the time, Haley messaged me a million times, and I wasn't somebody that hopped in the first day we talked, but I was somebody that joined and really ran with it later. So don't be attached to the outcome. The second thing is, don't be on the hunt. You don't want people to feel like you're just looking at them as a prospect, or you see like a QV number over their head when you're having those conversations. Like, you really want to be a genuine person and think about how you can add value to their life, how you can help them. And that's something that I have struggled with along the way, because I know we all are so driven and want to succeed that sometimes we can get caught up in what that person can do for us, but we really need to focus on making it about what we can do for that person and what we have to offer them. The third thing is, less is more. A lot of times, like we talked about, when we first are starting out, we all have the habit of kind of like throwing up Arbonne. You want to kind of think of it as in, like, when you start dating somebody or start seeing somebody, you're not just going to be like ripping your clothes off, super revealing right away. It needs to be like a gradual process. Like, take the time to get to know that person and sprinkle it into their life. You don't want to just throw up Arbonne on them. This is a gradual process, a gradual conversation that we follow steps. You're not just going to overwhelm them with information. A lot of times that could also be deterring them from using the products or starting the business. Like, if you are honestly just throwing tons of facts at them, they're probably going to be like, oh crap, like I could never memorize the ingredients of every single skincare product. How could I ever be a consultant? And I think that's something I struggled with in the beginning, was I felt like I just constantly had to know every single fact, every single detail, and I had to throw it at people to make sure they knew I knew what I was talking about. Don't overwhelm people. Less is honestly more. The fourth thing, be authentic. This is something I learned along the way as well. You will never be anybody else. I remember when I first started my business, I literally thought to myself, wow, I can't wait to be like Annie. Wow, I can't wait to be Haley one day. You will never be anybody else in this business. None of us will ever be Annie. None of you will ever be me or Kat or Megan or Haley. We all do this in our own way, and we need to be authentic to who we are. Kind of like Megan touched on earlier, it's not my personality to text somebody and say, hey girl, da da da, or oh my gosh, or yay, yay, yay. Like Annie has that energy that's authentic to her, but talk in a way that's authentic to you. You don't want to be showing up on social media as a different person than you are in real life. Like be authentic, be yourself. The fifth thing, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Another thing we get caught up in is this wheel of thinking, I have to say the perfect thing. I'm not ready. I don't know what to say. I don't know the wording, so I can't start talking to people. But you can't learn the perfect wording. You're not going to get comfortable with what you're saying unless you start talking to people. That's how you learn. So you constantly have to just be putting yourself out there, be willing to suck at something at first, and you're going to get better as you consistently go through and have these conversations. Like I said, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. The right people will come into your business. Sixth, stop convincing people. If it's right, they bite. So if you feel like you're convincing somebody and like begging them to join their business or your business, what do you think it's going to be like when they sign up? Chances are you're going to be begging them every single day to do the activity, begging them to get on the team calls, begging them to go to an event. This is not something that we're in the business of dragging people along. This is the business of helping other people have this gift and this opportunity if they want it. You should never feel like you're begging or convincing anybody of anything. This truly is a gift. If they don't want it, awesome, we can give it to somebody else. You're never going to run out of people. The seventh thing is listen. Something that was really helpful, especially in the beginning of my business, was the fact that I was a really good listener. And I knew, I had personal conversations with my coworkers, my friends. I knew the things that they were looking for. Like I knew which ones of my friends were struggling to lose weight or just had kids or struggled with acne. You want to listen to other people's pains or problems and offer them a solution. So always make sure you're being more of a listener than you are a talker. You want to offer people what they're looking for, and you want to know, how you can help them. Kind of like I said in the beginning, not being attached to the outcome or don't be on the hunt. It's more so about what you can add value to other people's lives. The eighth thing is work from conversation to conversation. You should never be hung up on waiting for somebody to sign up and thinking like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is going to sign up tomorrow. Can't wait. Then I'm going to be done. I hit my goal. Like you should always be in the next conversation to the point that you're not sitting there waiting for somebody to follow up with the sign up steps. You know what I mean? Like this is a constant business. You don't stop when you have one person sign up or you have one success. We build on success. We don't rest on it. Never just sit and wait in a conversation. Always be ready to have the next one with the next person. The ninth thing, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Kind of the same thing I just said, but you don't want to be counting QV before it actually happens because that slows you down. If you're seeing or you're thinking in your mind, so-and-so is going to sign up tomorrow, then you're probably not going to work as hard as if you had nobody that you knew signing up tomorrow. So never count your chickens before they hatch. 10, lead with the business and then default to the products. Like Annie said, always start with the business, tier down to the products. Because if you start with the products and they're like, no, not really interested, you can't say, okay, great. Do you want to start a business with these products you're not interested in? You're backing yourself into a corner. So you really need to always start with the business, tier down to the products. And then that leads to the 11th thing, which is referrals. So somebody should either be a consultant, a preferred client, or a referral. That's the same thing with tiering down. If you talk to them about being a consultant, no, not working, not ready, have them be a preferred client. If they're not ready to be a preferred client, have them sign up with a couple of products. If they're absolutely refusing to do that, that person can still connect you to maybe, your next VP. Some of the top people on my team are people that I did not know before I started this business, but I met them through another person that wasn't into it. And I know there's a lot of people in Arbonne in general that, were referrals. So somebody is always going to be adding value to your business. So if they don't sign up as a consultant, don't pout and be mad. You know, they could still be a preferred client. If they don't want to use the products, still not a reason to be upset or mad. They can connect you to somebody that wants to use the products or that wants to be a consultant and start their business. But that's pretty much it, I think. Yep, that was all of them. Sorry, I talk really fast.
Oh my God, that was brilliant. Okay, guys, this is literally amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this call was something like jam-packed of good information, something that people are going to have to go back and re-watch for good wording tips. This is going to be posted tomorrow along with in the comments, and it also might be in the files tab on the Nation page, the Google Doc that we're going to put together for y'all. So stay tuned on that. We were going to go to a weekly whipping, but this went long enough. Haley and Megan, if you guys have something planned for your teams, go ahead and comment, you know, where your teams are going. For my region, let's head straight to a power hour, and we're going to go on Gabby's, Zoom. So Gabby, can you type, your code into the chat?
Do you want me to copy the link straight into the Boxer? Or do I put it here?
Oh yeah, that works too. Cause yeah, everybody in my region should be in the Voxer. So just go to the link that Gabby sends in the Voxer. It's just that I have a launch literally in like a few minutes right now. But that was so amazing. Let's get to work. If you guys, you know, like I'm just gonna say, like, please don't get off this call and just be like, peace. This is great. So much inspo. I'm going to go to bed. Let's put it to some good work. Even if you're going to sit right now and plan how Arbonne's going to fit into your life, right? Like I said on last night's call, you know, where are you going to be? How long are you going to spend on it? What are you going to be doing? And if you have to plan it out, I'm going to be sitting at my kitchen table as I do 100 reach outs, as I spend 1 hour working my Arbonne business at 7 a.m. when nobody's awake. Plan it out every single day, right? So yeah. Or hey, it could be at 9 p.m. when everybody goes to bed and you stay consistent and work your business. But yeah, we're getting straight to a power hour, and that way we can unmute ourselves, ask questions, work alongside each other, and get some good stuff done. So I'm gonna end this. If you guys, everybody on this that's in my region, y'all are in the region Voxer, right? Okay, cool. I just don't want people to not like feel connected. All right, cool. Then I'm gonna end this and I'll see you guys on the power hour after I do this launch.